I am not sober. Oh man. hmm
Yeah, there's no need to be.
This could be interesting. Oh man. I gotta. Feel it. I should get some water or something. I'll be right back. Get some hydration.
Well, then welcome to the All Pop No Culture podcast. I'm your host this week, Pete. Tonight I'm joined as always by Kevin.
Hey.
And Andrew.
Glad to be here as always.
And I don't know why I'm doing that voice. I was just being enthusiastic and weird. And no, you know why? Actually, I can tell you why I'm doing that voice. You know what I volunteered tonight to do? And I realized, and all of a sudden I went, holy shit, I have no idea what I'm going to do or how to do this. No. So it is JV lacrosse season, or it's lacrosse season, girls lacrosse. My oldest plays high school. She made the JV team. She said, "Oh, first before we get going, we are a pop culture based podcast, mostly talking about streaming, movies, TV, video games, sometimes some entertainment. We're kind of spreading our wings and seeing where it takes us. Tonight we're actually right now going to talk about girls lacrosse." And this the questionable thing that I signed up to do. So, girls lacrosse started. My daughter made the JV team. They asked for parent volunteers to do stuff. Oh yes, no, we're super happy. She's awesome. It's great. It's a good thing. They had a jamboree today, so they got to play together as a team for the first time. They've only had 2 weeks of practice. It's really good. But they asked for volunteers to do stuff at the home games, right? Like some people have to, run the scoreboard. Some people have to do this. Some people have to do this for JV varsity. I, gentlemen, have signed up to be the announcer for the JV girls lacrosse.
That is awesome, dude.
Home games.
That's awesome. Good for you.
At California High School in San Ramon, California. Oh wow! I just told people where. Well, you can just
Our
Google
alma mater, baby. Well, us too. But
hell, easy.
Man,
oh god,
I might do the fight song. We are California High School. Grizzlies ready for attack.
Big C means to strive and fight and win for orange and black. Fight.
Grizzlies
are for watching. Day by day we prowl. And when you hear the song, you know you can't go wrong. By the way, we fiercely growl. Grrrah. Grrrah. Grrrah.
That was bad.
Yeah. You remember that one time we lost all of our listeners?
Yes, I do. No, you know what? It's funny you say that because my daughter also this year surprised the bejesus out of me and decided she wanted to try cheerleading, which was interesting, way out of my wheelhouse. But I was surprised, and she was surprised that I knew that song. And so I helped my daughter for cheer learn the school fight song because I knew it.
That's awesome.
So that was fun. Yeah, it's a getting older feeling. Oh god. Anyway, have you guys been? Good week?
Man,
I think so. I don't remember.
You remember?
That'd be good.
I have really only one thing I want to talk about tonight. We're gonna do our usual. We'll catch you up on on anything notable that we've been watching, and then we will talk about Lost. We got 3 episodes to cover tonight.
Yes, we do.
They're chock-a-block, shall we say? But before that, most notable thing I've watched on Apple TV Plus, it's The After Party. It's got it's a ridiculous show in some ways, but it's really, really good. It's very almost Agatha Christie, like 10 Little Indians kind of mystery. There's the guy high school reunion. One guy's really famous, blah, blah, blah. Mystery stuff happens. He dies. And then the suspects are all the people at the party. How he died all have to stay there. Tiffany Haddish comes in as the detective who she's got to solve the case right now because she's proving something. Like, we don't 100% know that, but we're going to find out here because the season finale comes out this Friday. It's really, really funny. It's really good. I'm going to finish looking it up here so I can tell you everybody who's in it, because I don't know a lot of the actors' names to some degree, but I can tell you what they've been. Well, I know Ike Barinholtz is in it. Who else? There's a bunch of people in this shit. Bunch of people you don't know who are actually, they're really funny.
You think I don't know who funny people are?
No, they're new faces.
Oh, Sam Richardson from Veep.
Exactly. So that's who I was saying. He plays a Neek. He's great. Ike Barinholtz. Ben Schwartz is obnoxious. What's his? Dave Franco's in it as Xavier, the dead guy. There's a lot of funny people in this show, and a lot of ridiculous shit happens. And the nice thing is, so obviously you go show by show by show, and you get everybody's story as they tell it to the detective, right? Mm-hmm. For the evening as it goes through. It's your basic kind of mystery format, but it's also very hijinks ensue. Almost Peter Sellers-esque kind of thing, the way things roll out. And it's so far the mystery's gone well. We're going to find out who the killer is this Friday. Really funny. Totally recommend it. If you got Apple TV Plus or you got that free thing, it's a super duper neato show. It's really funny. I want to talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it until somebody else has seen it, because it is a mystery. So it's fun to not get too deep into it. All the characters are very funny, and there's obviously a love story going on here. Like I said, it's your standard fare for a mystery show like this, but the characters are so over the top in so many ways, and so many ridiculous things happen, and the confluence of events that come together to form the evening are so ridiculous in so many ways, yet at the same time still very grounded in a real sense. But it's fun to have each character tell their little story.
I have a confession to make in that I have not seen Clue. I've never watched Murder, She Wrote. Like, I'm not a mystery person, okay? But I will say that I was pleasantly surprised by Knives Out by Rian Johnson, because I was like, I hate you, Rian Johnson, until I saw Knives Out. And then I was like, this is a brilliant film. Okay, stay away from properties, just do your own thing. So my question to you ultimately is, how does Knives Out, which I loved, but again, maybe Knives Out was pedestrian because that's I haven't seen a lot of other stuff. How was Knives Out compared to what you just saw?
Knives Out was a ton better.
Oh,
or it was no, but that's not to say this wasn't good. I love only because Knives Out is so fucking good.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's ridiculous how good that movie. It's one of those that I finally saw at home, and I was like, why didn't I see this in the theater? This is the kind of movie I would have liked to have seen with other people in the theater. It was such a good movie.
Yes.
So it's not on par with it like that. It is, like I said, it's very Agatha Christie, 10 Little Indians in some ways.
Because After Party's a little over the top.
It is.
Right?
Oh no,
it's
it's very over the top. Yeah. It's not. It's a very different sensibility. You really feel in with Knives Out. I almost got a very British sensibility to the mystery. There was a lot that happened that was very cheeky. A lot of the dialogue. This one, it's the same kind of thing, but very American.
Okay.
Like Sam Robertson, his character Anik gets totally chiefed when he passes out, because again, it's this strange confluence of events that brings everything together. That when it's a fun mystery, and the people in it are fucking hilarious.
Well, I think if you look at a cast that has Ben Schwartz and Ike Barinholtz in it, you should probably have a good idea of what the humor is in it.
Exactly.
As opposed to a Chris Evans and a Daniel
Don Johnson.
Yeah. I think Knives Out is a more mature humor, and after party is a little younger, not like high school younger, but
no, close. But no, it's the people. If you look at it, I think they're in their early to mid 30s. Like I forget what year Reunion is,
Yeah.
so it is skewed a little younger than than we are. It's very millennial. Like we're at the point now where they're making the millennial like 30 something shows, and we've moved on, and we're like now we're supposed to be
now.
No, we're not the Golden Girls yet. I think now we're like the 2020 investigative mystery shows. Like we're supposed to watch like the news shows afterwards, because that's when the kids go to bed, and that's what just happens to be on the TV when you fucking slump down into the couch, defeated from your day of living life, and you watch about like how Lacey. Oh, I don't even know. Yeah, but what were we talking about?
Well, you were just finishing your show.
Definitely. So watch it. It's fun. It's really they're half-hour episodes, and they fucking fly by. Like 10? Now's the
10 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Now's the perfect time to watch it, because the finale comes out Friday. You can burn through them. It really is worth a watch because it's fun. They do one episode has like a bunch of animation in it. Right, because it's how each person is telling their story and their view on how the evening went, and their and then you've got people acting on the outside during the interviews when the stories are being told, but it's very clear, and I forget who directed them. I'll go back and look and update us on a future episode. It's very clear that they use different directors, like for each episode. This is not like almost in the same way, like with like exactly. I didn't want to use 4 Rooms because I thought the reference was too old. But I was gonna say, like in The Mandalorian and like the Book of Boba Fett, like you watch that, you watch those, and it's like, oh yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard directed this one, Robert Rodriguez directed this one, Jon Favreau directed this one. Like they let each director really put their stamp on it with the content that they created. So it was really kind of neat. It's a really, really, really good one. Now I actually, Kevin, you said you only have one thing, right?
I've got a couple things, but they'll go pretty quick.
So I actually do have one more thing. I just have to get the name of it again because I forgot its specific name, but it was really funny.
Sounds memorable.
No, it's got Will Arnett is in it. Hold on.
Lego Masters?
No, it's oh, hold on, let me find it, and then
Lego Batman?
No, it's not a fucking Lego movie. He's in. Okay, so oh god, this is so bad. This is like idiocy, the way I'm podcasting right now.
You're old, man. It happens.
Murderville.
Oh yeah. I've been meaning to give that a go. I just haven't yet.
Okay, it is.
How much of it have you watched?
The whole fucking series.
Okay.
You fly through. It is goofy, stupid, fucking fun. That is all it is. And basically, imagine this: Will Arnett is your hard-boiled detective, and he's got a storyline that arcs through over the 10 episodes. It's a stupid storyline, and it's a light storyline, but you're like, okay, it's funny. It adds, a through line to everything, right? Mm-hmm. But it's imagine it's basically a murder mystery party where you've got one person trying to solve the murder mystery that's going on, and Will Arnett's the detective that like trains you, and the actor or actress, or well, the people that are like, they had like Marshawn Lynch, was one of them. Conan O'Brien was another one. Sharon Stone, Kumail Nanjiani, Ken Jeong was hilarious because he couldn't take it seriously. He laughed through the thing the entire time. And he has one of the funniest bits of the season. I don't want to give it away, but basically Will Arnett's like, they do a lot with like the, the earbud in the ear, do what I say kind of thing. It's all improv.
Yeah, well,
it's very
Will Arnett's isn't though, right? His like the whole point is like he's
scripted
real
more or
character.
less.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So it's real people coming in his world with no script, no nothing, but his storyline is scripted. It looks absolutely nuts.
It is, and there's clues for them to like solve this. It is just silly, stupid, funny. That's all it, like, go into it knowing that's what it is, that you're going to laugh at some points. Some of it is completely sophomoric humor, but the cast that they put together and the other and the surrounding people that are in it and how serious some of the guests take it. Like Sharon Stone, it was interesting. I felt like Sharon Stone was trying to create her own hard-boiled detective character. Like out of it, like she was trying to actually almost do some acting with it, whereas like I said, Ken Jeong just cracks up the whole time. Kumail Nanjiani is just himself.
Yeah,
like he's very much, he's not, but you don't feel like he's doing Kumail Nanjiani. Like it is just, he's like, I feel like he's never done anything like this, or he has, and this is just so overwhelming. But it's really a funny show. And like I said, it flies by. Yeah, it's on Netflix, I believe it was.
Yeah, it's Netflix. I know, because I was gonna watch it before I started watching the girl in the woman in the house across the street from the girl in the window, which is something that I was gonna bring up for my my watch this week.
I was wondering, but I realized someone was like drinking water.
Okay, so Kevin just had an animal drinking water.
Yeah, I still do.
My dog just barked because my wife and my daughter just got home because it was the winter semi-formal at Cal High this evening. So she went to a dance. What? It was not fun? I'm sorry.
Aw.
What? Well, I'm not going to talk about that. It wasn't that bad. It's sharing some other kid's business, so I'm not going to do that on the air.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing like
traumatizing.
Yeah, so that was a very interesting sound moment. That's almost ASMR for some people.
I was wondering what was going on for a second.
And then my wife is just off camera. She's looking in, going,
just disappointed in you, or?
There's my daughter.
There
we go. The dog is assaulting both of them because they're finally home. Okay. So yeah, watch Murderville on Netflix. It's hilarious. No, off the table, you shit. Come on.
The pup.
Like I said, hijinks ensue. And they have to solve the murder mystery, and at the end of a couple of little improv segments, basically, they then have to pick 1, 2, or 3 and kind of give a reason why. And it's funny because they're good at like pointing out the clues to you, and they're also very good at like making. It's not like escape room shit. Like it's very obvious stuff that they talk about, and the character emphasizes it. So it's like that should have been a red flag if you were paying attention, kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Nothing's ever like too hard to catch. But yeah, it's just I've said it 5 times now. It's just a fun fucking show. You'll laugh. But it is, I do find with a lot of improv shows, it's not kind of one of those things you can almost kind of have on like while you're doing laundry. Like you do actually need to kind of sit down and concentrate on it, because there's some times that Will Arnett's just fucking brilliant with some of the stuff that he does, that you just very underrated in my opinion. Anyway, let's move on to someone else, because I'm done prattling on like a twat.
I'll go real quick, because you're talking about Murderville. Like I said, I was going to watch it, but instead I watched the woman in the house across the street from the girl in the window. And I said that it was a comedy, but it didn't really feel like a comedy, I think is what I said when I watched it a couple weeks ago. And I finished it, and by the time you get to the end and you really think about the show, you realize that it is a fucking it's a comedy 100%. But to know that, to understand that, you have to understand those woman movies. So the woman on the girl on the train, the woman in the window. You have
Gone Girl.
Exactly. You have to understand the things that make those stories tick. Because if you understand those, they are mocking them in every single episode. It's just super subtle in the beginning, and by the end, like there's a fight scene at the end that is the most insane fight scene I've ever seen in my fucking life. I don't want to ruin it because it ruins the whole show, which if you watch and pay attention, you can guess exactly like who the killer is, right? But it's almost hard to guess because it's so unbelievable. And so it's so fantastic that way. So hold on one second. My dog's
What's the?
Jesus Christ. Hold on one second.
No, do your thing. So yeah, Murderville. No, that's interesting. That's funny that we actually have kind of. So wait, you haven't seen a lot of mysteries, like mystery type movies. Like, did you ever see any of like the? Now, okay, have you seen Usual Suspects?
I need to rewatch that. Yes, that's a classic. Kaiser Soze.
Yeah, that is okay. So here's one for you, and we talked about this on the show, and the guys actually called me out on it. It was funny, but this is my fun little fact about that. I actually saw Usual Suspects and Seven in the theater on the same weekend. Right? Does Kevin say, because we talked about this and we actually checked the date because there was like there's no way that was possible. I was like, yes, it was, because I remember it, because I remember being Kevin Spacey overloaded on that, because I saw Usual Suspects and I was like, wow, that was amazing. And then I'm in the theater and I'm watching Seven, and that movie's a ride in and of itself. But when Kevin Spacey rolls in and just detectives, it's just like I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, Kevin.
That movie, it's hard to watch, but
it's good though.
It's an amazing film. But it's really hard to watch. Like,
what's in the box?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think Brad Pitt gets enough credit for how good an actor he is with a lot of stuff.
I'll stand behind him in almost everything he's in. Great.
And part of me is saying this now because I watched Fight Club last night.
Thank you. Classic.
Just on he is amazing at that. Like, everybody always talks about how good an actor Ed Norton is.
They both were. But yeah,
Ed Norton was really, really good, but he was still like
Ed Norton.
You know what I mean? Like, he was still Ed Norton. It was an amazing performance, but he was still Ed Norton. It's like, because you know how, like, I think another guy who gets talked about but never gets enough props is like Sam Rockwell.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sam Rockwell, there is a Sam Rockwell, and we've seen that character, but that dude is also different in every fucking movie that he's in.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a completely different character, and he's done. Did you ever see Moon?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I could totally do that. By the way,
it's just him. The whole movie is him on a space station on the moon that is basically malfunctioning, and I
really wanted to watch that, and I forgot about it.
It sounds like one of those things that you're like, this sounds like the dumbest shit ever. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, because he is. I think if it was somebody else, it was good.
Okay, so I actually kind of like those movies, and I know Chris, so we were thinking about watching that, but we watched the preview and we were like, this looks like way more serious than I thought it was, just based on the name.
So it feels serious if you don't understand the genre, and if you don't look at it like they're making fun of it, because it seems like one of those movies but poorly written. But the poor writing is 100% intentional. So all the stuff that like feels telegraphed, all the stuff that feels stupid, all the stuff that feels like maybe it's kind of bad writing or lame or whatever, as it's happening, just remind yourself that they know exactly what they're doing to you with what they're writing. And it becomes hilarious. And I think it's funnier in retrospect than it is when you're watching it.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. It's interesting you say that, because like I said, I've seen a bunch of the movies
Mhm.
in that kind of genre. So it's not like Scary Movie or
Yeah, it's not like
Epic Movie
if I was
or
comparing it to those, I would compare it more to like Scream than I would to
okay.
Scary Movie, right? Like it
Okay.
understands that it's in the genre, but it's also, you know, poking fun at the genre and flipping the genre on their ear. Like if you take Scream, for example, just one of the things that they did brilliantly was put Drew Barrymore in all the pre-hype material, and then they killed her in the first like 3 minutes of the movie.
Oh, that was awesome. That was so good. And I'm not a
so
scary movie person, but Scream
yeah,
I genuinely just liked.
yeah. So I would liken it more to that, although it really does get like super ridiculous at the end, but for the good, I think, because I think it builds its way there. Um, so that's what made that one good. Um, I am otherwise still watching Yellowstone. I'm almost through season 3 of that. Um, and that show is fantastic. Like honestly, if you turn it on and watch the first episode, you know you're in for good television, because um, I compared the writing to Lost a lot in my head, not because it's the same type of show. It's not a mystery. It's not over the top, but it's just when it starts, it just feels like a good show. Like they just kick off. They're like, our writing's good, our actors are good, the directors know what they're doing. I didn't realize that the guy that created it is the same guy that wrote Hell or High Water. If you've seen that, and that one's awesome. It's Chris Pine.
Ooh, always a good time.
Dude, it's really good.
No, really, I like Chris Pine. Chris Pine,
Um,
he's another one who I think is because he's like the hunky, genre actor guy. He's completely underrated when he does, stuff like well, we can talk about that because I still have to finish watching that movie. Have any of you guys seen? Have either of you seen? Fuck it, I'm gonna talk about it. Have either of you seen the movie with? I don't think it's Chris Pine. I think it's oh my god, it's the other Chris, Captain America. I'm blanking on his name because I'm an asshole. Evans, and a little girl, and he's like her uncle, and her parents die, and she's a total genius, and so he's like taking her to do so. Like, it just looks like a phenomenal movie, but I've never met anybody that's seen it. Okay, well, I get
non Captain America Chris Evans that movie I saw was the one on the train. What's it called? Shit. It's like they're on a train, and it's a Chinese one, and it's
Snowpiercer.
Thank you, Snowpiercer. Yeah.
wasn't that a like a
novel or
the
something?
kind of Western adaptation of Train to Busan? Or am I tripping?
No,
Train to Busan.
That's different. Train to Busan is different. I think there's actually going to be a Western adaptation of Train to Busan, but Snowpiercer is like this, like it's dystopian. Like
I've seen a little bit of the show.
Oh, the show, okay, but there was a movie before the show,
right? I know. I remember the movie. I get the concept. Isn't it like a train that just keeps basically wrapping around the Earth? It's just constantly moving, but there's this like crazy caste system.
Yes,
and yeah. No, that's one of those that I've always been like, God, I would like to watch that, but there's so much other shit I'm trying to and have to watch. Can I?
The movie is better than the TV series.
Okay. It's a crazy fucking concept.
Are they even related? The TV series? I feel like they're in different universes.
No,
I believe that the Snowpiercer TV series is a prequel to the movie.
Oh, that makes me want to see it more now. Okay.
Yeah. So I let Andrew tell us about New Edition. I'm gonna step away for 1 second while I try and find my idiot dog. Right. But I've heard some of his New Edition story already, so it works for me, and I'll be right back.
All right. Very, very good. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, I just got back from Madison Square Garden.
Well, no, hold on. Let's back this up because this is. We'll talk about that in a moment. But we have to address something here because this is one of those things that you and I had in common that we didn't realize we kind of had in common, or we may have talked about it at one point at school, and not even realize. 'Cause I remember having a few conversations with you about music here and there, but the reconnection on Facebook, we both found out, or I found out, or we found each other that we were both New Edition fans, which sounds so silly that should be a thing, but you know what I'm saying? Like that it's a such a big like connecting
A million
detail to
percent.
something.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those like because you don't meet a lot of New Edition fans. At least I don't. You know, I know some people who are like familiar with some of the music and oh yeah, I think I've heard that song. I'm like, no, I love that song. Like, you know, Can You Stand the Rain is to me the most beautiful love song that has ever been written.
Well,
That is
wow.
my absolute favorite song, and we'll get into that in a
I
moment.
thought I liked you a lot, but just that statement alone, like I didn't think it was possible to like you more. I like you more.
Yeah.
just for that statement.
No, and I mean it is just the perfect song like that. I think it was all put together. So, but you know, we'll talk about that in a minute because you have a good story about that now. I don't know. That was just chewing time for, you know, the sake of chewing time. But it all ties into what you're about to say. So, what were you doing just basically before we were recording tonight?
So basically, yeah, no, it's called the Culture Tour. It's a 30-city tour. And basically, Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike, Ralph, and Johnny, all six have gotten back together, which was a miracle in and of itself because literally, like between 2019 to like last year, they were beefing, dude. Like it was bad. It was really bad. So anyway, they got back together, but Jodeci was the opening act. And a lot of you out there listening right now might know Jodeci only through Casey and JoJo because they had that song All My Life, which was a big hit. But Jodeci was more of like, you had to be kind of more like into like, I'll just say urban music to know them. Anyway, Jodeci opened. Their set was way too damn short. It was like 30 minutes. And Charlie Wilson, who's more of a Gap Band guy, like kind of like 80s, 70s soul, he was on for about an hour.
That's very interesting that they gave that they. I mean, at least to me, I always thought of Jodeci much bigger than Charlie Wilson.
It depends on it depends on your generation and your, I would almost say, demographic in a way, because I feel like Charlie's a bit of an institution. He's kind of like Frankie Beverly and Maze, like Before I Let Go. These are songs where their barbecue stuff. It's a thing, you know. And he's called Uncle Charlie, like Uncle Charlie.
Yeah.
But that said, I know the crowd, even me, like about 45 minutes in, we're like, come on, dude, like we came to see New Edition. You're not the headliner. Like, stop the madness. But he did good. And for 69 years old, having had knee surgery 2 months before the show, he was doing the damn thing. I've got some clips that, so if you're my Facebook friend, I'm being way too personal right now in this podcast, you'll see those clips. But then New Edition did their thing. And I think a good segue though is, you know, to make sure that we're staying on topic with television. And thank you for letting me share my joy from this concert.
No, you're not done with that yet. How was the show? You said it was amazing. What did they open with? Give me.
And they opened with oh man, what the fuck did they open with? Shit, I think it was Candy Girl. I think it was Candy Girl. But the thing is, they opened with Candy Girl, but they had these outfits on that were just so dope. These like long like red leather trench coats. Man, they look so smooth. If It Isn't Love was like literally, I think, the second or third song. Like it was, so you know the show's gonna be dope if like you do like one of your monster hits, like early on. And the dope part about it was like they're very democratic. So
I'm sorry, again, we're getting over Sherry night. That like that, you just like jogged a memory in my head because I now remember being a kid got, because that would have come out when we were in about 6th or 7th grade.
If It Is in Love, that was really more 5th to 6th.
Was it that? Yeah, it was around 5th, because
88.
which would make
88.
sense, because I can remember being at school singing that song, and like no other kids knew it. And that was really weird. Just, I mean, it wasn't just because I'm a horrible singer, but it just like it's just an amazing pop song. Yes. I mean, New Edition is, well, no, forget it. That's just my personal opinion about the greatest boy band of all time. But that, I mean,
they kind of are, man. I mean, or certainly the Blueprint. Like they telling Kevin, like they were basically after the Jackson 5, they were named New Edition because they're the new edition of the Jackson 5.
Yeah.
And Candy Girl sounds like a Jackson. Candy Girl and ABC are very kind of similar. And also, I will say this though. I was telling Kevin this too. They're the only band that I know of where maybe the Beatles, but every single member actually had a successful spinoff. And I talked about how
Bobby, solo career, yeah.
Yes, Bobby spun off first.
Or
BBD spin off in 1990. Johnny Gill spin off in 1990. Ralph spin off in 1990. But they all had their thing. And then they come back together and form like Voltron, and you get a good show. So basically, even Every Little Step, Bobby did Every Little Step, but like his boys were backing him up. You know, everyone had their moment, dude. It was such a good show. And it was perfect. It wasn't too short. It wasn't too long. It was perfect.
So did they each get like 1 or 2 songs to do the
motherfucking yeah, pardon my French. So basically,
oh no, I want to guess. Hold on, let me guess. Bobby did My Prerogative and Every Little Step.
He had a couple of others too, by the way.
Oh, Roni?
Yes.
Of course. And
you got this, Pete. You got this. Come on, dude. What's his other? Can I give you a hint?
Yeah.
What's his other big ballad?
Oh, I'm not going to go to Google. Just tell me.
Rock with you, man.
I want to rock with you, baby. All night long. Oh, so, yeah, God.
No. Don't do that.
He said, don't do that ever again. Don't ever again. No, everyone did the thing. Ralph did Sensitivity. Johnny Gill did My Bye. Ralph killed it, dude. Ralph killed it. And then
did he?
DVD did of course they did
Poison.
And then we went from Poison to My Prerogative. That was a great transition. And by the way, Poison and My Prerogative are both my fucking karaoke go-to. So I love that they went back to back with them shits. Man, it was such a good show. But can I talk about the movie now?
Yeah, no. So I've been wanting to talk about this too. I'm so happy because nobody else I know has seen it.
Yeah. No, the movie was a thing. So back in 2017, BET did a 3-night I think it was 3 nights, a 3-night miniseries event, the New Edition story. And the first 2 hours was New Edition as kids, in Orchard Park projects. And it was so well done. I mean, the way they cast the people who played the kid,
amazing.
And the kid who plays on Stranger Things, I forget his name, but Caleb McLaughlin, he plays Ricky Bell as a kid, and it was just so well done. So for their kids, you see them go from the talent show to performing as New Edition, and it's kind of sad because there's a song called "Is This the End?" and they're showing them on tour, and they go, "Mama told me one day it was gonna happen," and the kids each morph from kid to teenager, boom, boom, boom. They literally grew up on tour. So in a way, it's almost sad because it's they never really had a childhood in a way because they were always working. But then you also see how their managers kind of screwed them out of their money. They were really exploited. And by the way, trivia, the guy who put together New Edition also put together New Kids on the Block. So after New Edition was stolen away from MCA, he was smart enough and savvy enough to say, well, if this is one market, let me do the same thing. Let me Elvis this. Let me go ahead and get another demographic with the same music, bigger audience. Is it going to be bigger? And he was right. It was way bigger. But anyway, that's beside the point. It was just trivia. The second film was about their heartbreak era, which is If It Is in Love and Can You Stand the Rain, Bobby Brown getting kicked out.
Okay, so hold on.
Yeah, jump in.
So hold on. That's that moment Okay. It is one of the, for somebody, especially for someone who's a fan of the song "Can You Stand the Rain,"
in the movie, right?
Yeah, there's just a brilliant vocal moment, and the way they do it. If you're a New Edition fan and or a fan of the genre at least, or you're from that era and you love that song, when they show them recording that and the way they cut the pieces together, and it's obvious, it's just amazing. It's absolutely amazing. The way it's done. It's probably one of the most beautiful versions of that song I've ever heard. It's very interesting to me because I one of my one of my like YouTube holes. I love cover songs, like cover music. Like there's a guy, Noah Guthrie, who does covers of stuff. He was on Glee, and he was on I think The Voice, but he does an amazing version of Rihanna's Love on the Brain, and he's got a bunch of stuff on iTunes. He does just great covers of Pompeii, if you're into newer stuff, just really cool. Anyway, I cannot find a lot of covers of Can You Stand the Rain? And that has always boggled my mind because there's so many artists out there, like, and I'm not a musician, so I don't know how hard it would be. I don't know what kind of time it would be, but that is one of those songs that I've always felt, even though it's perfect, I can't believe that more people haven't taken that song and tried to do something with it, because it's just an absolutely amazing song.
So Boyz II Men covered it on their Evolution album, and by the way, that album was the first album I've ever like bought and returned. But like, so I didn't think Boyz II Men did a good job. I mean, they did a decent job, but their live version of it was better. I did find one amazing cover. I can't remember who did it, but it was like as in their name. But I think they're Bay Area actually. And it was like a family, and they were really cool. But you're right. I mean, I think it's a very thin slice, because even again, we're just talking about Cal High all day on this podcast.
Right.
Even a lot of the classmates from Cal High, like I've seen them like say, "I love Can You Stand the Rain," or after seeing them on the American Music Awards last fall, I'm downloading it. So Can You Stand the Rain, from anybody who is like, I would say, from 74 to like 80 maybe, in terms of like their age, like if they're plugged into R&B, they know that song, and they don't just know that song, it's like they love that song. So it's a narrow but deep love, I think.
I see. It's interesting. I see what you're saying about maybe they're not the greatest boy band of all time, but definitely in a lot of ways the blueprint.
Yes.
Because I mean, to me, and I can't think of guys, like, people have told me, well, the Beatles were kind of a boy band in the beginning, and then there were the Beach Boys. I don't really think of them as boy bands in the same way, because they were, other than like the Monkees, if you will, I don't know a lot of bands that were manufactured that way. Like, they were still a band, even if they were kind of marketed, changed a different way, a la, That Thing You Do. They still were kind of who they were. And so I think New Edition really was, in a lot of ways, the first big boy band to break on the scene of that kind of, like, you start off young and you grow into men. And that's, in a lot of ways, that's what you saw with, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, and those guys are still fucking all over the place. All of them. They're still like kicking it everywhere.
Except for NSYNC, actually, and I feel bad for them in a way, because I feel like it's Justin. Like, Justin's like, dude, I don't need you, So the other four is kind of like, okay, we'll just like.
But we need you.
Basically. But but you're right. Everybody else, new kids, they're all. I mean, especially the new kids. I think they're making more money now than they ever made when they were. So good for them.
But yeah, it's definitely, I know you can stream it if you subscribe to BET. I forget what the name of their BETs are. BET One, I think it is. They've got a streaming service. You can still watch it there. It's worth it, even if they have a free subscription, or just subscribe for a month. Pay $15. Honestly, it's also
keep going.
A really good piece of filmmaking.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not. That's one. Like I'm also a big fan of this genre. Like there have been a bunch of movies that have made like like the Meatloaf story or whatever, and there's been about In Excess or the one on Netflix about Motley Crue. I love these kind of like acted out,
Right.
behind the scenes kind of biopic deals, and this one's just
They
it's
knocked
just
it out of the
really
park.
good.
It's authentic, and it feels real, and it feels like you can feel, almost how like people can like bake the love into
Yeah.
like the pie or like the meal, whatever. The love was baked into this 3-part miniseries, and you really get a sense as to, man, these guys are brothers, and they fight, and when they fight, they fucking fight like naturally to this day.
And it's also
Can't
it's
wait.
fun. Like you get a lot of the iconic moments about like
Oh
that,
yes.
if you will, that universe that you know about. Like you get when Boys to Men goes up to the
Yes.
bus
Yes.
and sings, even though
Totally.
I have heard though that story is not 100% true, that there like was another meeting before or something. But I loved the idea that that's what they did, is that they rolled up and sang for him like that, and Michael Bivins was just like, uh-huh.
It was after a New Edition concert, I want to say in Philadelphia, like this, and yeah. So no, I mean, I think even, and we will get to Lost in a second, but I will say that like even like the where Bobby Brown gets his Gumby from a mistake, like I think that was a little fabricated. That was just for the movie. That's not really what happened. But
Yeah.
but no, I think a lot of it really did happen, and like anyway, it was just so good. And again, if you guys like find me and want to talk about it after you've watched the movie, I will totally talk to you, even if I don't know you. Just fucking look me up and we'll talk about it, because I love New Edition, and anybody who knows me knows like I am actually a member of New Edition. They just don't know it. So
Thank you for indulging us in that, Kevin.
thank
No,
you.
I'm glad I could.
That was fun.
Just
That you're falling asleep there for a minute.
no, and just to steal the thunder back for myself for a second. The only other thing that I really watched this week, I watched today, on it's I guess it's on Disney Plus and HBO, was Free Guy. I didn't watch it when it was in
I
theaters.
haven't watched that yet. That's on my like
Get
gonna
on
get
it.
watched this week
Get on it.
Yeah,
movie.
it was really fun. It was definitely a Ryan Reynolds movie. So he's a little over the top when he does comedy. I don't think he's too over the top, but he's definitely over the top. And so if you're into his humor, you're set. Jodie Comer is fantastic.
Yeah.
She's much more subdued than she is on Killing Eve, where she is absolutely fantastic. But she's great in this. It's a really fun movie. A lot, especially if you've ever played video games or if you've ever been into video games. There's a lot of references in that movie to other things, because I watched it with my kids today, or two of my boys today, and they were laughing at some of the stuff that was popping up in there.
You know who surprised me in that movie, actually? Because I actually kind of hate him now, and I just feel like you play that role too well. Taika Waititi. He is a dick in that movie, man.
He's actually like, I like Taika a lot. Like I will watch any of his movies all the time. He's actually probably the weakest part of the movie.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Like what I think, I just as a character, like his motivations, his intentions don't really fit, and they don't really make a whole lot of sense.
But you know what,
Which
though?
is weird to say with what the movie is, but I think his character could have been better. I think he was fine in it. He was definitely, he played the asshole to a T. It was fantastic. But I think the character itself could have been better. But otherwise, it was good.
Now, do you have to know a lot about video games to really get all the fun of it? I've seen that just from the preview. Like I get it. I've played some first person shooters. I played some other game. Like I get what they're going for. I played GTA.
Enough. They're definitely not. Yeah, they're not leaning into specific things from specific games. It's more general ideas from the different genres.
Right. I mean, it's not like Mythic Quest where there's a lot of inside jokes. Like there's stuff on
No.
Mythic Quest that I had to look up to really understand the humor of, because I was like I know that's fucking funny, but I don't know why it's funny, and I need to know, so I fucking
And
Google the shit out of something.
this movie was being produced as Disney was buying, I think, Fox.
It got
And so
delayed.
it did, because, and you can see when they decided to throw in all the Disney properties.
Oh,
'Cause they did
really?
throw in some Disney shit,
Of
and it's
fucking
like
course they do.
near the end, and it's so perfectly blatant. Like it's so over the top, but it works. Um, and yeah, it's fun. And the other thing is too, if your kids, because we are not into the streamers that our kids watch, but if your kids watch streamers on YouTube, there's 4 or 5 streamers that show up regularly throughout
Oh,
the movie, and they're current very popular streamers.
like who?
You have Ninja.
Okay,
Um,
PewDiePie.
no, not PewDiePie. You have Ninja. You have Dan TDM.
I've now basically, other than Ninja and
Um,
PewDiePie, I have no idea who else you're gonna say.
there's one other one, but yeah, they were all there. Oh, Jacksepticeye. Um, they're huge right now, and so for them to show up in the movie was fun too.
Okay, nice.
I don't follow any of their content because I'm an old man, but my kids know.
Because I understand there's a finite amount of hours in the day, and I
Right.
have things that fill them up.
Yeah. So yeah, so I would definitely recommend Freedom. It's a lot of fun. So I'm curious. I'm sure you'll like it.
Cool. Yeah, I really want to watch that. It's like I said. I was gonna watch. Actually, I was going to text you the other day, and I'll just ask it right now. And Andrew, I don't know if you've seen this, but Kevin, I know you've seen one. So on HBO Max right now, I'm wrestling which one I'm supposed to watch first: Nobody or Free Guy.
I haven't watched Nobody.
Oh, you haven't?
So no, so I was going to watch that too. I keep forgetting about that one, but I added it to my list, so I got to go in there. The one thing, because it's so funny that we were talking about 80s movies earlier before we started recording, but one thing that somebody said is on HBO that I have to find and watch now is the 1980s cartoon version of Watership Down.
Oh yeah.
I need to see that too.
Have you never seen it?
I've never
Well,
seen
I've
it.
seen
I
it,
know.
but it's
Oh,
been,
okay.
It's been 30 something years since I've seen
It's I remember that as a kid.
It's dark, dude.
Well, the book's fucking dark.
Mhm.
I watched the new version, the CGI version. Yeah, it
It's
wasn't.
supposed to be more true to the book, though.
It is. Oh, it's much more true. You know what it is? You almost have to take it like this. It's a cartoon movie. It's 90 minutes long. Okay, which is actually long for what they were making cartoon movies of something like this in the 80s. You know, you got to look at like the Rankin Bass and
Yep.
you know, the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit and the way they did those.
That's
You had to
true.
boil the Hobbit down to 90 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, and I know he added a ton of stuff and it was a total fucking cash grab, but it still took Peter Jackson 3 movies to tell that story. I think if you wanted to tell the Hobbit, you could like just the story that's in the book and tell it all. It does need 2 movies, but I think 2 90-minute movies. I think there's a good stopping point, like the same stopping point that you have. But you know, like all the stuff that happens in Lake Town, all the extra shit that he added, it just didn't need to be there. Like he wanted another trilogy because that's just the way shit works now with movies. Everything's got to have a fucking trilogy. I get that, and I loved The Hobbit. I know I'm one of the few that really love it because we've talked about this. It's got a special place in my heart. Anyway, completely forgot what we were talking about.
Watership Down.
Nobody.
Oh yeah, no, Watership Down. It was 90 minutes. The style of animation that it was
It's so good.
is amazing, and it's so different but yet the same. Like it still fits the time period. It's not like it was groundbreaking for, you know, it's not like it was like a Scanner Darkly or something like that, where it really was this like fucking way far out thing where you're like, holy shit. But it was it was just very unlike anything that was going on in animation at that time, really. And it is dark. They don't shy away from the dark stuff in the
At all.
in the book to do it, and it is so good. I remember because that came out when we were really young, like we were like 5 or 6, and I remember watching it because I remember my mom realizing what we had like watching it and be like, oh my god, because it's heavy for a 5 or 6 year old because they're bunny rabbits.
Oh, there's deaths. There's straight up deaths in that story.
Again, it's that's the thing. It's a book like that though that is like that's on one of those. Here we go. I'm gonna get political for just a second. That's one of those books that gets put on the banned book lists with like Mouse and things like that. When books like that are actually incredibly important because they tell a story, especially for children. They make things accessible and let children learn, or not necessarily children, but young people learn to process things with a parable, basically, because it's fucking bunny rabbits. Right. And books like that are important to keep in schools. Message. That'll be that. We're done with that. Yeah, but Watership Down, dude, that's on HBO Max now.
Yep, and so is just to go back to that same era that I might watch too, because I enjoyed it when I was a kid. Is The Last Unicorn.
I have a DVD of that still. That movie, my Christy hates that fucking movie, which I get. I get that. That is a movie that you either loved or hated. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely loved it. I thought the songs were great. The animation was amazing. The story was cool. Like I love Schmendrick, the whole thing, the Red Bull, just all of that, the way they did the unicorns. It's, if you've never seen that and you're listening to this show, pause, go watch The Last Unicorn and then come back and listen. It's not that there's spoilers or anything. It's just a fucking brilliant piece of art.
Yeah, it's got a little tragedy to it and a little. Oh
yeah,
it's good.
I always loved as a kid. I always loved the scene with the skeleton that lets them into the Red Bulls thing with drinking the wine, like that whole thing. Schmendrick just trying to figure everything out. Like it's and some of the voice acting. I forget exactly who it is, but I remember it's what's his bucket? Jeff Bridges, I think, does the voice of. The thing, and I think it's Mia Farrow that does this. I mean, yeah, that's another good. Okay, that's another one that I like. My girls, I don't know if Stella's seen it. I know Sophia's seen it. Because like I remember watching that with Soph when she was younger, and she really liked it. But that's good that that's on there. Oh, cool. That's 2 good ones. Because Watership Down, that's another one that's on my list to show my kids. And now that is there and ready to go, I'm like, cool. Here's
it's a good one. Speaking of Watership Down,
yeah,
it's Sawyer's favorite book from Moth.
Oh, I'm sorry if that just
nailed it. I can transition like a motherfucker.
Oh my god, that was so smooth.
Seamless.
All right, normally we'd give you another 10 minutes of idiot banter. But these boys are getting ready to fall asleep. I can see it. It's so late. For you folks that don't know, if we haven't talked about it enough, I am on the West Coast. Kevin and Andrew are on the East Coast. We record on a Saturday night. We don't get started until around 9:30 usually. We're hitting the record button by 10, which is already 1 a.m. their time. And now I'm just stretching it. I'm being a cruel fuck right now. Just anyway, I would like to thank you both for not flaying me. For being late tonight, because we started much later than we could. It's almost 4 a.m. for them. 10 till, as you can see from Kevin's video, if that's what you're watching right now, Andrew was falling asleep. It's funny because I haven't, you know what? I don't want to talk about this. You guys can go to bed. Everybody, what have we learned today? We've learned that Pete's a prick for not getting home in time, so you guys can go to sleep. Kevin, say goodnight.
Good night.
Andrew, say good night. Smooth son of a bitch. hit it.
How am I supposed to go to sleep? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but you know what, everybody? Have a week.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. My very first lap dance was to that song. I was 18. It was at Spirit of Rhino in Santa Barbara. The first week at UC Santa Barbara. She was a blonde, and it was
Hello.
I've only had one in my life.
Good for you, Kevin.
Yeah,
That's actually impressive.
I only went because it was somebody else's bachelor party, and the only reason that I got even a lap dance, like I wasn't going to spend any money. I didn't. I really just went to support my friend, have a good time, you know.
Yeah.
Joke around with my friends, but we went with a girl, so we had one girl in our group, and she was hilarious, and she was pretty enough, right? And so we get there, and we're sitting there. And I'm sitting next to her. I was talking to her all night, and this dude starts eyeballing her, and so we're laughing or whatever. And he bought me a lap dance to get me away from her so he could talk to her.
What a
Yeah, it's hilarious. Like I was like, cool. She was laughing. She was dying. But yeah, it was
the
like
thirst awakens, man.
Yeah, yeah. He tried real hard.
That's funny.
Even the girl doing the lap dance, like,
Hello.
you know, first she was trying to be she's trying to be all, yeah, we can hear you. She's trying to be all sexy and stuff, which she was actually really pretty, and everything. But you know, she said something about the lap dance, and I was like, I'm not even paying for it, so whatever. And I told her the story, and she's laughing, and the girl sitting next to her is laughing, and so it was like the oddest experience I can imagine that you could have getting a lap dance, but it was like fun.
Yeah.
So
and real. And to me, that's awesome.
exactly. Because there wasn't like this expectation that like I was just like there to have a girl dance on me, and there wasn't an expectation that like I was one of the crazy people that thought if I gave this girl enough money, she'd be like in love with me or whatever. And so like it was just two people in a weird situation just laughing.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
Nice.